everyone. I thought surely it wasn't me, so that's a lovely compliment. So I'm gonna start it off with a question. Everyone, raise your hand if you've ever had a period, known someone who had a period. I hope everyone has their hands raised. Okay, that's setting the tone. I'm talking about periods and uteruses tonight. So, for whatever reason, when I was little, I looked forward to getting my first period. I was super excited. Everyone was like, you're gonna be a woman. Like, you're not, you're still a child. But, like, it's this great rite of passage. So, I told myself, I'm gonna remember the day. And I still do. It was June 6, 2008. I don't know any of my other periods. So, that was the first one. I was excited. I thought it was gonna be great. Spoiler, it sucked. So, 2019 was the first time I went to the ER for my period. So, everyone, they have cramps or whatever. So, I get my period. I'm like, okay, I know the drill. Happens every month. 30 minutes in, I'm like, oh crap, I'm in a lot of pain. And in that 30 minutes, I passed out 6 times. So I don't know if you know this, but passing out is not super normal. It was my first time passing out, period, and to do it 6 times alone in the house, not super fun. So I called the ambulance, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Y'all gonna have to pick me up, take me to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. I'm like, surely you're gonna fix me. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen either. So I go there. I get no pain medication. I got an ultrasound, and I got a referral to go to the gynecologist because I had a painful period. Okay, what do I do with that? So fast forward a couple years, 2020, we all know what's going on. And all of these symptoms are getting worse. I have a conversation with my coworker, and she's like, oh, you might have PCOS. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I go to the internet, and I Google, and I research, and I said, that's not me. I don't have that. However, there's this thing called endometriosis. If you ever, look stuff up when you're sick, all the symptoms that they had for comment, I had all of them. So I was like, oh, this is what it is. And then I get to talking to my mom, and she's like, oh yeah, like when I delivered you and they had the C-section, they found endometriosis too, and they never told her anything else about it. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to the hospital. I have all the symptoms. My mom has it. I self-diagnosed myself. And then the next step was going to the doctor and telling them that I have endometriosis and getting them to believe me. That was a whole other process. So in that journey, I was on 5, 6 different birth controls. I went to at least 3 specialists, and it was an awful time. So some of you may know, some of you may not know, endometriosis is an inflammatory condition where tissue like the uterus is not the same, is growing in parts of your body that it's not supposed to. It's been found on every major organ. Think about it like cancer that's not actually going to kill you. So 1 in 10 women have it. It's as common as diabetes, and I bet some of you have never heard of it. It takes on average 7 years for women to get diagnosed, and if you're lucky enough to be Black, it takes you 10. And that also doesn't include if you're a trans man, if you're gender nonconforming, or if you're the rare cis man who ends up with it too. So I knew something was wrong, and I had to get people to believe me. I was having really painful cycles. I was having cramps. It got to the point where I bought a wheelchair off of Amazon because my cramps are so bad, I couldn't walk around my house. And I would go to the doctor, and they're like, periods are painful. No, periods are not supposed to be that painful. So through all of that, I'm fighting. I'm going to work. I'm not going to work. I'm calling out of work. I'm showing up to work when I should be showing up to the ER. And finally, I get my surgery. And I think, okay, everything is going to be okay. The problem is there is no cure. So I got my surgery. It was wonderful, but I still have all the same symptoms. I actually just had surgery again. So why am I telling you that I have bad periods and I'm sick? Well, I realized through this journey of disability so much about myself. There's nothing like literally fighting for your life and having to say, I know what's wrong with me. I know you don't believe me. I'm going to keep pushing until you listen to me. And even through that, I was educating myself about this condition. I was Googling. I don't know anyone else. I don't know how you guys respond when you're not feeling well. I was panic researching. And I'm not just talking about like going on Google and like looking up some, I'm talking about I read medical journals, like several. Because I was like, what is going on? And I was also like, y'all not gonna let me die. Y'all not gonna kill me. So I'm still here, yes. Very happy to still be here. What I learned from that experience is just how important it is to use my voice, because I used my voice to stay here, to get the care I needed, to, share what it is so that other people who might have other symptoms can realize, hey, if your period is interfering with your life, if you're having all of these symptoms, something's wrong, it's not your fault, and keep pushing until someone listens to you. And I think it is brave to exist in a world as a Black woman, as a disabled Black woman. I think that's inherently brave. Some people in the disability community don't like being called brave just for existing, and I respect that. However, I think it's inherently brave to exist in a world that's not made for you, that is not catered to you, sometimes is actively harmful to you, and say, I deserve to be here, I deserve to live, my life matters, and I'm pretty great. And even, I'm not gonna tell you that I love having endometriosis, that would be a lie. I do not like being chronically in pain. However, the things that I've learned from having this journey with disability have changed me in great ways, in some pretty awful ways, but the things that I've learned from getting this new identity have just been incredibly impactful. I have learned a new language. I do work in healthcare, so I had a little experience, but there's a whole language to having chronic illness and disability. I learned about raspberry leaf tea, and it is wonderful for cramps if you ever want to try it. I learned about this whole community of people who say, maybe my body isn't perfect, and that can be okay, and having a chronic illness and disability is not bad because we're broken. We just need to live in a world where people are accepting us and are willing to do the work to bridge the gap. So I am brave because I almost didn't come because I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, I just should stay home with my heating pad and chill with some tea. But I said, if I want to be brave, then I have to go. I have to tell strangers about my period. And I have to say that it's important to just, keep fighting and keep pushing. And please listen to women.